Well, hello everyone. Hope everybody's having a winning day and a winning new year, even amongst the struggles we have to keep moving. I just want to say I wanted to thank everybody for really supporting me in this video series, and I'm going to continue it to try to make a difference in the suicide rate. I've been really thinking about it, uh, what this theme could be, and I've been really struggling. It could be one of my most important videos ever. I really feel that in my heart. It could be the all-time big issue. And I don't know how I'm going to crack this code or whatever, but they used to have the saying, and I think they dropped it, say no to drugs. And this is not to down any organizations and, Samaritans and NAMI and Suicide Helpline. The awareness has become abundance, okay? As a two-time attempted suicide survivor, I take it differently, okay? And when I'm seeing that and having this awareness of what's going on, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm aware that I want to kill myself, okay? Maybe the prevention part is more important, but the awareness, we all know. I go to events, I don't see people that have attempted as much as I see people that are worried about people attempting. So I take a different take on this, and by no means it's not to say anything negative about awareness. I mean, it's very important. I'm bringing awareness, okay, that some people, when I talk about certain things I'm seeing with the teenagers, like on Tumblr, like 250,000 notes, a million notes on like, I want to kill myself today. I mean, misery likes company, right? And not to say they're not suffering. I understand, there's a lot of suffering that's going on. And anyway, just to identify myself, people that don't know me, Dan Pelly, inspirational speaker on suicide awareness and prevention, not a medical doctor. I do advocate medical treatment at all times, especially in the clinical depression or any depression that you feel unsafe. You should immediately call 911, or if you're thinking about taking your life right at this second, you should call 911. But let's talk about the stigma, okay? What is stigma? It's when we judge people, right? It's like, okay, it's a shameful thing, and you're chicken way out, and all these things are said about it. No wonder why people want to isolate. So my theme of this is, as you see, stigma to me equals isolation. But here's the challenge. How do we break through the stigma of shame and hidden that, you want to do something that's morally, they say, incorrect in life, and we shouldn't. I just believe it in my soul as a Buddhist practitioner, in my heart, that, life is precious, and I made a mistake. We make mistakes. It's a mistake to try to kill yourself. I'm not judging people with terminal illness. Very tough decision, up to that individual. But for me, I would say, if I see a Christopher Reeves hanging on, it's like, your life's precious. Look at the difference he made. Everybody has a mission. So anyway, this is where the struggle's been before I've made this video, to talk about the stigma and what it does to the attempted suicide person. It really kind of, the stigma that we're going to make aware of, that it's okay to say, I need help, right? This is the message a lot of these big outfits and everybody that, incorporate with each other, and I hope to also, I post my videos on NAMI, my story. Hopefully it's making a difference. And but on the overall of this isolation that's going on, my concern is for that person that was where I was twice under clinical depression, wanting to kill themselves right now, right this instant. Whether it's a passing thought, suicidology, constantly thinking about it, this is what it's about. It ain't just about, self-help and encouragement. It's about, you're in this position of thinking you want to end your life. Very dark, very deep, very lonely. Been there twice. I know how I felt like there was an 800-pound gorilla on my back. I know the only thing I saw was death, and this is the way out of this pain, because the pain can hurt your heart and your mind so bad. So when we get into stigma equals isolation, when people hear it's a chicken way out and you shouldn't be doing it, you're mentally sick, you're going to be mentally sick for the rest of your life, which is not true. You could be mentally sick for the rest of your life. You could always be suicidal. 1 attempt, 2 attempts, 3 attempts, 3 strikes, you might be out. Lucky you could be out the first time. And you don't even have the opportunity to sit here for all the people that I think my life matters. And for myself only, we're finally learning how to love yourself. Because that's where it really starts, right? We want to talk about self-love. And we want to talk about not feeling degraded or not feeling ridiculed. So here was my biggest challenge, was to actually say to somebody, which my wife at the time, in the second round of it, years later, 14 years later, never thought it would come back, right? Was, I need help. I'm thinking dangerous thoughts. I'm thinking about ending my life. I don't want to end my life. So now I knew the second time to ask for help. So this is, I think it's more dialogue I'm thinking about than stigma, awareness, prevention, and all of that. I could talk about statistics all day long. And the preventive measurements, the prevention measures that you need to take when someone's in a state of depression, into clinical depression, and as this continues in their life, day in and day out. So, not to say I got all the answers, but there's something not working here. If I wrote my program 16 years ago and there was 30,000 people a year killing themselves, now I know the more we got in this world, the more stress we're developing and more mental health issues. Sometimes getting everything we want is not always the answer. But I think self-love is and self-empowerment, obviously, that no one's going to do it for you. Nothing's going to drop in your lap and say, poof, you hit the lottery. Whatever it's going to take. Even sickness, and mentally working and going after it medically, getting the right doctor, getting the right meds, getting the right exercise, getting the right sleep. This all contributed to your physicalness too. Besides, obviously, a devastating disease that might need more aggressive medication, and even as a Buddhist, we're for the right doctor and the right medication. This is our human nature. This is what we have to do. But I want to talk about this stigma, how it is where people will look down on you and will think you're weak and will think it's a chicken way out. And then you're ashamed and you're embarrassed. So what happens? You isolate. And as soon as you isolate, here's where the battle begins, right? The isolation is just, once you get into this mode, you become comfortable with it. And I see a lot of reblogs that people are becoming comfortable with their suffering. And I remember one of my, senior leaders telling me, "You like to suffer? Yeah. If you like to suffer, you can stay in that world, And I'll ask you the question. Of course you don't like to suffer, right? Who the hell wants to suffer? But to say we can't get out of the suffering, I'm not a big fan of it. Even then, if someone said, you can get out of this suffering, Dan, I would tell them to go to hell. I'm not coming out. So I understand the reaction of, I'm sick, I'm in this position, don't tell me I can get better and everything's going to be okay. But I'm bold enough to say about the stigma, I think we got the wrong approach, even though the stigma is there, and I think we got the word out. Now 46,976 killed themselves, 11th leading cause out of 15. Something's wrong. Something is not happening to get through. And I don't know if it's in a model of reading or it's visual now with people, and to give them inspiration, not to be a life coach, but it can say it coincides with that. But the day you get up from your isolation, and I learned this from another member too, after 40 years, he couldn't even put his toe on the floor. When you're in this depression, and I was suffering, and I was in program in 10, and I was around people suffering, worse than me, okay? I made a determination that I physically got to get a little better and watch my health, okay? Well, I was on 5 meds, okay? And staying safe, I'm not jumping off a building anywhere, so I'm like safe, but I'm with this crowd and I'm down for a while, a good year, okay? I'm down. And I'm suicidal. So, but I said, I'm going to make a turn. I said, these 3 big flights of stairs, because the elevator didn't work well, I'm going to walk it every time I come in this program, up and down. Just that one effort. I'm not saying a whole bunch of efforts and wear me down and I want to go isolate again. I got to get out of bed and I got to go to this program because this is where I belong. Communing with people, learning about other illnesses, knowing that I got to make a choice. I'm not saying bipolar and other things that come into play that need medication. I'm not talking about that. I was on enough meds, but you can still take a determined action for yourself. And as I saw it, it was very important to do this. And I walked those 3 flights for 4 months straight, up and down 3 times a week. And I went from 5 meds to 4, and I was determined to get off meds because for me, I got to feel everything I want to know here. Because even though it's a pain, where I don't go is suicidology anymore. And so let's I think move away from the stigma part, which I think we know it's there, but it's causing isolation. To say, how do I say, yeah, I'm sick. Yeah, I'm sick, but I'm going to come out of it. You know, I'm not well. You know, I'm depressed. I had a loss, a family loss, a death, a marriage, whatever it is, you know, that people suffer. But once you dialogue about it, and I knew this once I did this with other people, and I walked those stairs, and I started weaning off meds. I've been off meds since the December of 11, and I've never went back. You know, I contribute some of it to my Buddhist practice, but to me, taking my action myself and ending the stigma of now I'm looked at as Dan, the way he was strong before, he can, you know, he does well, he's successful, it all comes back. But it's up to you to change, because when people see you that way, the stigma stays. Oh, he's checking out, he's copping out, he can't handle it. That's not even true. We're just sickly. And we can handle life. Hey, life throws a lot at us, you know. People say it's the evil world, all of it. No, I don't believe that. I believe there's good and evil. And, you know, there's good and bad, the energy. And that's why good keeps prevailing, right? So, but what road, what convictions are we going to take, what determination? That's the thing. But I think to end the stigma and the isolation you're in, and I know we can get pretty isolated when we want to kill ourselves. We sit alone and we do the act and we end it, and then we leave a lot of destruction behind also. Not only destroying our own life, but destruction after that. So stigma equals isolation. I want to talk about you, the one that wants to kill themselves right now. I have to work my way out of isolation. I don't care if it's taking a shower, walking, music, library, any kind of function. I used to tell my friend that was a heroin addict that ended up passing. Unfortunately, I supported him for a good 3 years, and he made the wrong decision, okay, and it can take your life. But he said your little list is important, right? Not the big list of buying the house or the relationships, the little list of functioning every day and feeling good in your own skin, to not abuse yourself and not hurt yourself. Because whether people are cutting or losing weight or they're abusing themselves, ain't nothing like you want to kill yourself when it comes to that. I don't want to say nothing like that's nothing to do something like that to yourself, but suicide takes the cake, okay? How you don't feel in your skin and you want to be gone. It's just a horrible place to be. And I hope to lift people out of it. Look at me, I'm okay, I'm happy. I got a lot of struggles going on right now. They're part of the life. It's part of life. I stopped begrudging them a while ago. Let's go. Let's get at it. We got another day to make a difference. Anyway. So I hope I made some points about stigma. It's really to touch that person that's in isolation. And I got about a minute and a half. I want to end with some encouragement. And I'll end with that. But I hope I made some progress on this isolation. But here goes. This is out of the book of Courage. Courage is the invincible jewel, sword that cuts through all adversity. Got to have courage. And then for the... we should give the prize, it's out of a love book, we should give the first priority of the development of an independent spirit as a human being before considering one's role a man, woman, child, or parent. In other words, in order for a person to become a man, woman, child, or parent, in the true sense of the word, one has to first of all develop his or her autonomous identity as a human being. Good one. And this one comes out of the prayer book that I have for Buddhism. I'm not saying you have to practice, but it's the struggle we go through to have our prayers answered makes us stronger. If we would immediately get everything we prayed for, we would become spoiled and decadent. excuse me, we would lead indolent lives devoid of any hard work or struggle. As a result, we will become shallow human beings. What then would be the point of faith? And Determination is always my best book, and I'll end with this. And please like, subscribe, share, and it spreads the word and give people a little bit of that wedge I always talk about to get that person up and to start living life again, because your life matters, and never give up. Life is like a sea voyage. We each need to open up our own course in life with the strength of our convictions, unperturbed by the crashing breakers of life's stormy seas. The fiercer the tempest rages, the more we need to rouse our own fighting spirit. Man the tiller with all our strength and skill, crying, bring it on. Keep moving, bring it on. Your life matters. My name's Dan Pell, the inspirational speaker, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a winning day.